What's going on, guys? Uh, I did another short. If you guys haven't seen it, it was Beyond Electric Cars, I think is the title of it. I did that one last night, had 96 subs. Time I got up this morning, it was at 1,200 views, and I'm at 101 subs, folks. I finally broke the 100 mark. I think we ought to all be celebrating. Uh, it's kind of funny, folks, because I got a, I've got what I have to call them at least friends. They're not family. I don't allow them in my house, but these friends of mine in this town, they started off as complete enemies. I mean to tell you, folks, here, I'll write this down real quick, and you can go check it out if you want. If you can find it. It's called Boardman Township, Ohio, but it's capital O, capital H. You guys go, and matter of fact, I'll leave in the description a link to the channel and to one of the videos that I first made when I moved into this town, and it involved the Boardman Township Police Department. Now, this video, I think, was about, okay, we've been here going on about 4 years, so it's about 3.5 years old. So it happened 3.5 years ago. Uh, these people in this town couldn't believe this hillbilly that they only knew by Watachi running free, and they couldn't pull my name off of the vehicles I was driving, folks. I was using my wife's car and running Ubers and Lyfts in my wife's car. So if anything happened while I was in my wife's car, all they could do by pulling the license plate number was come up with a woman's name. They could not come up with my name. They only knew of me by Watachi running free. And until they arrested me, illegally arrested me, they did not know who I was, other than my channel, Watachi Running Free, my original one. And then because I tell everybody my name, David Brian Grooms, they knew that. But you look up David Brian Grooms on Google or anywhere, there's a gazillion of us. And I didn't know that. Grooms didn't sound like that popular of a name when I was a kid, and I still don't find too many people that I run into with the same last name. Grooms, Grooms. So the police department, when I first met me, I wasn't even still. I was wiggling so far back and forth across Jesus' path. I wasn't. I wasn't in the state of mind I am today. I was still pretty angry. Had a lot of hate in me, and I put it off on them. The government has done a lot to me in my life, folks, and I put a lot of that anger off on them. So I was recording them and shit, And you can go there and on that channel I showed you, and you can see I've been trespassed around here from public property, the public library, parks, public parks. I've been trespassed from for metal detecting, folks, not for not wearing a mask or nothing like that. For metal detecting, when I was given permission to do the metal detecting. But some people call and tell lies to people, and they get rights taken from me. Uh, these people in this town didn't know how to take this dumbass hillbilly with a cowboy hat, because people I wear a cowboy hat during the winter months. Because you see this haircut, it don't keep my head warm. So I've got a cowboy hat I wear during, and I don't even call it a cowboy hat. It's more of a hunting hat, basically. It's a camouflage color. It's even a greenish color, but people always call it a cowboy hat because I can shape it however I want. But they seen I come into this town and I start attacking. First thing I did in a courtroom is I beat this damn state trooper around here. He pulled me over. I didn't have my seatbelt on. I made a corner that he claimed that I did not use a turn signal on. I was sitting there, my wife's sitting behind me, pointing him out. I'm looking at him. There's no way I made that corner without a turn signal on. He was 30 yards from me, watching me like a hawk. I went around that corner. He jumped right out behind me because I didn't have a seatbelt on. As soon as I seen him, I grabbed that seatbelt and put it on. He pulls me over. I give him my license and shit and tell him, do what you're going to do. He pulls up and blocks. I pull into a parking space and he pulls right behind me to block me like I'm some big criminal or something. And he jumps out, young cop, telling me how, well, I pulled you over because you didn't use your turn signal. And you didn't have your seatbelt on. I'm sitting there with the seatbelt on. He doesn't know I got my phone recording in my cup holder pointed right up at him. I hand him license, insurance, registration, everything's legal. I hand it to him, tell him I don't want to hear his bullshit. I'm not talking to him. Just take the shit and write the tickets. He comes back. He tells me, I'm not going to write you. I pulled you over because you didn't use a turn signal. I said, bullshit. He goes, but I wrote you a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt. Now, I've had my seatbelt on ever since he pulled me over. I've still had it on. And he starts explaining to me, and I'm telling him, I don't want to hear any of your explanations. Send me the stuff. I'm 50. I was 55 or something at that time. Said, I'm 55 years old. I've dealt with this. I don't need your explanations. Give me the shit. And he still, I got to say this. And he run his mouth. Well, finally, he hands me the shit. And I look at him and said, one last thing. Did I have my seatbelt on when you pulled me over? He goes, yes, you did. I said, all right, now get that piece of shit police car out of my way so I can get the hell out of here. You have a nice day, sir. You have a nice day. And he went on. I beat him in court with that damn video. This was before all the other shit happened. Then I moved into this town and I started hearing about these cops. And I did everything I did. Fought them in court. I didn't take one of their lawyers. I fought them myself. But these guys today, now this has been a couple of years ago. a lot of the police guys, the guys on the police department, they used to talk about me on the shifts. They would be saying, "Well, this is what Tachi has done. This is who he's recorded last night. This is the new videos," and they would talk about what I was catching them doing, And a lot of these guys, because they didn't have body cameras or nothing, man. They was getting away with a lot of shit. And the star in that show that I'm going to put in the description, the main guy, he is one of the guys I consider on the police department as a friend. I even consider a captain as a friend too, as well. There's a lieutenant that he's told these guys from the get-go when I was spouting off the laws and shit that they were violating my rights and shit on video. He's watching this shit and he's telling these officers, man, this man's absolutely right. So I had a lot of these officers that they didn't agree with me 100%, and nobody will ever do that. But they agreed with me on a lot of things. So some of them, they are friends. No, I don't go out drinking with them. I don't go to birthday parties with them. We don't have that kind of a relationship. But these guys know me and I know them, and we talk to each other, and they leave me alone anymore. They don't bother me whatsoever. I don't bother them anymore either. So, but I've had here lately a couple of these, and I didn't mean to make it this long, folks. But I got to kind of tell the new people. Like I said, I got 101 subs now, and not everybody knows this stuff about me. I hope they go back and see some of my stuff. But for you new subs, I've got 6 channels. So maybe as we go, you'll learn which ones they are, and there's more stuff on those channels too. But a couple of these officers have stopped me here lately, or not stopped me. They don't pull me over, folks. I'll see them or run into them somewhere, that, coming out of a store or whatever, and we talk, And the last couple of officers that I've talked to, they both asked me about this same thing. And we have a lady, I guess, that's living in this area, and she is on meth. She does a lot of meth, but she is claiming that the government is hitting her with frequencies. Now this is funny, folks, because there's somebody I know, you all know, that used to claim this same thing. I had seen many, many videos on this, and it was called gang stalking on YouTube. You can probably still find some of those channels still around. A lot of these people made claims. It didn't matter where they went, that they were being hit by these frequencies to keep them from being able to sleep. They could make their stomach hurt or do other things to them. Now, I watched a lot of this stuff trying to pull heads or tails out of it. And then Richie from Boston came out and started making the claims that they do the same thing to him. They hit him with frequencies and shit. He made the same claims, folks. See, this is why Richie just gave it up. He had been caught in so many lies. His name wasn't worth a crap towards the end of everything. That's why he just switched over to lying about where he goes four-wheeling at. He's the only one. I finally drove my Toyota across to Australia, and I'm in a land that no man has ever walked before, and my Toyota got me here. Shit. But he started talking about this gang stalking shit. So I've got these officers asking me what I think about this shit. And so I got to tell them the truth. You said the lady was messed up in meth. Well, I got a brother that was messed up on meth. He did 10 years in prison. When he got out, he was still messed up on meth because he said it was easier to get the shit inside than it was to get it on the outside. Today, last thing I heard, he was in Arizona. Haven't talked to him since my dad died. I talked to him a couple of times. I haven't talked to him since. Don't know if he's even alive. But he claimed that the whole story for me to tell you folks would take too long. He claimed one day he come bebopping over these fences and shit to my mom and dad's backyard. I was outside smoking a Marlboro. I see this guy bebopping around these bushes and shit, come jumping over my parents' fence and into the backyard, and I'm like, what the fuck, who is it? It's my brother. He's making a claim that he's racked up on meth. He's making a claim that every white and red car that goes by is a part of a cult that is chasing him. I'm like, what did you just fucking say? He said every white and red car that drives by. There was a busy road going by there. He goes, see that white car? That's one. That red car, that's another one. So I told the guy, both of them, I said, when you're talking about meth, you can't there is no reality if they're on meth. So I can't go along with, once you added that they were on meth, no, I can't say anything they're saying to be real. But this woman she's putting videos out, making claims on some of these officers that she knows a lot about, that they're using frequencies on her. Now, people, I want you to understand, this isn't impossible to do. It's actually pretty easy to do. Use frequencies on people to harm them. As a matter of fact, my son he went to school to be an electrician. He works for a fiber optic company, and he goes out on the poles, electric poles and stuff. He works on those, and he splices fiber optics and stuff together and makes it all work. Well, they have towers on some of these poles that are the 5G towers. He ain't allowed to go up that pole because that 5G tower that's sitting at the top of it can kill him. He has to call them and tell them to turn that damn thing off when he goes up that pole. That's frequencies, folks. That's frequencies. So that proves that frequencies can fucking kill you. Frequencies can do a lot more things. They can boil your blood while it's pumping through your veins. Frequencies can do a lot of things. So I'm not going to say this woman that it's not possible. Now, is Boardman Township police officers doing this to them? I doubt that doing this to her, I doubt that very much. But that is her claim, that these local officials are doing it. Could they be? I don't know. I don't know how big of a machine they would need to mess with somebody with frequencies. Is it something handheld? Is it something they can put on a car that you don't even know what it is and they can directional it in some way? I don't know. I can't say for sure it's not. But as soon as you involve meth, I know what that stuff's capable of making people think. So is this woman right? No, probably not. Could she be right? Is it possible? for the government to do that? Oh, yes. Just kind of funny that those who thought I was crazy and didn't know nothing about the law and all this shit when I first moved down here 4 years ago just thought I was some hillbilly, crazy ass hillbilly with a cowboy hat. Hell, why they would even ask me? I guess I've proven something to them, huh? That's what I think. You guys, none of this is me. None, I can't take credit for none of this that's happened. That the things that has happened that I've changed around here, that I've been a part of being a change to, it's not me. It's Jesus. It's the Holy Spirit, and it's God. It's all God that's done and made these changes. That prosecutor that prosecuted me a year and a half ago, or a year and a couple of months ago, he's no longer even a prosecutor. The police officer that filed the false charges against me, he does nothing but accident reports today. This ain't my doing, folks. I, I'm just a pawn being used in it. That's all I can say. You guys, God loves you. And He will do the same for you. Guarantee it. You got to go all in. Can't go 50-50. Can't go 60-40. Can't go 70-30. And I know some of you think you can go 70-50. You can't do that either. You got to go all in. I love you. Find Jesus. Do what you need to do. Let's all meet up there in one of them big mansions. You know, the one Jesus is putting together for each and every one of us right now. Love you.